Oh, you know what? Let me get up and turn this on. There's people here. Oh, I didn't realize it was on. Oh, hi. Thank you. Okay. So we are trying this again. Every time I try something new, I just want to elevate it a little bit. Hopefully the sound is a little bit better. I got out my microphone. Yesterday I did the first, Q&A, and honestly, I'm doing these because I can't make a video unless I'm really, really passionate about something. Like, unless I have really strong feelings, I can't do it. It just takes too much time. And I don't have really strong feelings about anything, but I still want to connect. So that's why I'm doing this, and hopefully I'll get an idea for something that I want to make a video about. Okay, so let's go through these. Hi, thank you. Look, I am trying to reduce my consumption. So I use Rent the Runway all the time. I used to spend a lot of money on clothes. I still spend too much, but I have, this is not an ad, by the way. I use Rent the Runway. I suggest everybody else do it. Maybe I'll put a link or somewhere. Don't waste your money on clothes. Put it in savings. What are your thoughts on friends who go after anyone you find attractive or dated? What kind of friends you got? I think that maybe we use the word friend maybe a little too loosely. Because if I can't trust you to not go after a man that I have already expressed attraction to, then you're not my friend. We might go out, we might drink together, but you're not my friend. I have a very close group of friends, and I don't have to worry about them trying to talk shit about me on the internet. I saw something on Twitter yesterday where somebody found out that her friend was talking shit about her on Lipstick Alley. I don't worry about my friends doing that. I don't worry about my friends trying to get with my exes. I don't know. I think it's difficult because nobody wants to be lonely, but the pain of knowing that your friends aren't down, that's way worse. So I would say, call your friend group. Cut some people off. Cut it out. Hi. Thank you. I've already talked about the Harriet Tubman movie yesterday. That live is no longer public. It's over on the Patreon. Love that necklace. This necklace I got off of Amazon. Really cheap. Go on Amazon. I am so articulate. Thank you so much. Already spoke on ASAP Rocky yesterday. Did you ever have to break up with the toxic advisor? I'm in a PhD program and have to break up with my advisor, and they're spreading malicious rumors about me to oh my gosh. I have never had to do that. I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't have that, but my goodness. One thing that I have noticed from, I've dated a few academics and I have friends who are in academia, and the world of academia is crazy. The drama is, girl, those nerds be in it, okay? Would you ever have a producer on or another interview to discuss the mainstream and indie music climate? I love watching you give your opinions. I definitely would. Something that I've learned recently? Video is tough because everybody thinks that they're good on camera. Everybody thinks that they're charming and that they're a good talker. Everybody's not. It's a really specific skill. And I just learned my lesson recently that you cannot just pluck somebody and sit them down in front of a camera because you think that they're smart and think that it's going to work. So I would have to see you. We'd have to have a conversation before. About to start my final year at Harvard SEAS, and I'm terrified. SEAS is, I don't know what that means. SEAS, is that a grad school? I would say I got through Harvard by studying something that I loved, absolutely loved it, picking as many Black professors as I could, loved them, still love them. They've been so supportive. Even after I failed out of school, still so supportive, have invited me back many times, and developing a great group of close friendships. Just amazing women. That's how I got through Harvard. I just want to say thank you. I'm not going to keep reading the compliments. How do you trust people who have done you dirty in the past? It depends on what you mean by dirty. Sometimes you just got to cut people off, but sometimes you have to sit down and work through it and choose every day to choose forgiveness every day. Thank you so much. Can you please, I'm going to sit down and review Euphoria after the season is over because I want to know what happens to Nate. I gotta know. As someone who's not American, it's okay. Thank you. Thank you. What are your other businesses or sources of income outside of YouTube? Okay, so just to keep it really short, as short as possible. So when I was 21 years old, I started this business I started a blog called For Harriet. And after a few years, the blog kind of became pretty successful and started making a lot of money. And then we had employees and all of that. After a few years of that, I realized that digital media is for 90% of digital media companies. It's not a sustainable business. And I'm really glad that I realized it before, honestly, a lot of other big companies realized it. So I said, I don't want to do that anymore. So I decided to not use up all of my savings and get out of daily publishing and do something else. And this is part of the something else. And hopefully finishing this book is a part of the something else. But I had a little bit of savings after I stopped publishing daily on the website. And then now that this has grown, I make a decent amount of money over here and on the Patreon. Can you please do a video about fat shaming if you haven't already? I could. I don't know if I'm the best person to talk about that. I did a video on Shrill, but I'm a thin-ish person. I feel like that wouldn't be the best place for me to go. How do you respond to people wearing Confederate clothing at work? I haven't worked in an office since 2013, so I don't know. Call HR. My college major was African American Studies. What books are you currently reading? I'm reading a book called Backlash by Susan Faludi, which actually one of y'all commented and told me to read it. It is an old school, like feminist text from the early 90s. And another book, I believe it's called Fear of the Black Body. I believe it is. I cannot remember what her name is, but it is so good. Okay. So it's basically about how fat shaming and fat phobia is inextricably linked to white supremacy. Oh, it's good, girl. It is an academic text. So, it's a little, look, I know a lot of words and I've learned so many new words while reading this book, but it's good. It's good. I would really appreciate talking more about how to talk. We need to have okay. What are your tips for sustaining an entrepreneurial endeavor? Save your money. I blew through so much money. Oh my God, I've wasted, when I think about all of the shit that I've wasted, the money that I've wasted on stupid shit, on Louboutins, I don't even wear anymore. I don't even think Louboutins are cute. I have thousands of dollars in red bottoms. Don't spend your money on stupid shit. And be organized and pay your taxes. How do you have thoughts on the lack of support given to new mothers, especially new Black mothers? How can we support mothers? I think it's just showing up. I never had an appreciation for how difficult parenting and motherhood was until my sister had children. And it is such a joy to be able to show up and help out with my nieces. Now, I don't do it all the time because I don't like to be around kids all the time. But if she wants to go on a trip, right? A couple of weeks ago, she wanted to go on a trip with her friends, me and my mom. No questions asked. If you need to do something for work, no questions asked. For me, I'm so happy to be flexible enough where if you need something, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to hassle you about it. You don't have to pay me no money. I'm there. I think mothers need communities. And it makes me happy that I can be a great supportive community. I have one older sister. She's 8 years older than me. I already talked about the Harriet Tubman yesterday. Would you be watching the HBO series? I absolutely will watch it. I don't love sketch comedy. I don't love it, but I love Black women and I love to support. So I will watch it and hopefully I will laugh. I always felt when I was going to uni, I led a double life. Life in academia and life in the neighborhood where I was from. Did you experience a similar double life at Harvard or not? Kind of, a little bit. I mean, I'll say that I kind of feel like my double life kind of started earlier than going to college because I just was into things that like nobody else in my family was into. Did a lot of theater, did a lot of speech and debate and was really, really good at it in high school. And, you know, it's just like, you know, both my mother and my sister like are STEM people, you know, like, and I was always just like a liberal arts, like touchy-feely humanities person. And so I just had to come to terms pretty early in life that like, we just didn't like the same stuff. We didn't listen to the same music. I mean, you know, so yeah, but now that I'm older, I can just appreciate that, like, we don't have to be 100% alike. And being open and not trying to be so secretive and not trying to hide things. Being more confident has helped me to kind of reconcile feeling like I have one life over here and one life over there. I don't have to hide it. I'm not ashamed. You know, we just don't like the same stuff. It's okay. I'm pro Elizabeth Warren. I'm a Pisces. Would you engage in a relationship in which your partner has children? I actually prefer a man who has one child at this point because I don't desire to have children. So I want you to know that you already got your kid. I don't want no pressure because nothing's growing in this womb. So actually right now, I actually do prefer a man who has one former partner, not multiple children with multiple partners, one, maybe two children with one former partner. That's my preference. Thoughts on white people. Reparations are not individual. You guys, this is a real thing. I see people calling Cash App me my reparations. That's not reparations. Reparations means a very specific thing. It is a large-scale redress for widespread structural racism. It is not individual. So it does bother me when I see small organizations or individuals talking about, you white man, give me my reparations. That's not what it is. If you want a white person to give you money, do that, okay? But don't call it reparations because that's not what it is. STEM girl here. I'm team no kids. I don't want to be a dad either. What, are you cute? Would you rather be 4 foot tall or 8 foot tall? Well, I'm 5 feet tall, so I'd probably rather be 4 feet tall. What's your favorite book by Toni Morrison? I said yesterday that it is a book of nonfiction called Playing in the Dark. Thoughts on polyamory? If it works for you, then go for it. I guess openness and communication would be key because that is not the status quo. So anytime you're adopting a relationship structure that's outside the status quo, it's a lot of work. Have you ever dealt with people heavily inspired by your content or blatantly copying? Honestly, you can blatantly copy me all you want, but I'm me. That's how I feel about it. I'm me. Okay. The secret sauce is not the idea. The secret sauce is me. Thoughts on homeschooling? You know, I understand why you would want to homeschool your children. If you want to take that on, then I am for it. I have questions about how you know all of the stuff necessary to be a great homeschool teacher. I think I definitely benefited. I have real smart parents. So both my parents did math stuff, and they could help me with calculus, but I don't know how they would be helping me with social studies. What do you think of the send her back comments by Donald Trump and now pandering to Black people by the whole ASAP Rocky situation? You know, somebody yesterday hypothesized that Donald Trump is doing the ASAP Rocky thing in order to appeal to the potential Black male Trump voters in 2020. I believe that. I think Donald Trump is an opportunist. He is a racist, and he is a star fucker. He loves celebrities. And so the ASAP Rocky thing is an opportunity for him to be opportunistic, but also to get close to really famous people. What projects are you interested in doing at this point in your career? I have no desire to talk about my future plans. Do you watch anime? No. Want to come to Australia? I would love to come to Australia. It looks gorgeous. Do you think ethics should be taught again in public schools? Yes. Why do you think that cultural appropriation discussions aren't useful? Because they are so often so focused on individuals. And not larger structures. Whenever I talk about a cultural appropriation thing, and this is what I try to do with every conversation that involves pop culture, I love to start out talking about, okay, this is what this individual is doing, but then let's always zoom out and talk about the larger structural forces at play. What's really at stake? Because it's not just about this person who's wearing braids or whatever. We have to talk about what financial incentives there are, how structural inequality influences that particular act of appropriation. I feel like too often it's about, don't wear braids. That's not helpful. It's not helpful. I am not talking about the trailer. I already did that. Any tips on being authentic and being professional? I want to have an inspiring platform, but still be hireable. I'm a software developer and video content creator. For context, I want to be fully me. I mean, you know, there are certainly things I feel like I am pretty candid and pretty honest, but there are certainly places that I'm just not going to go, because it's not that I am afraid of not being palatable. It's just I want to be productive, you know? Now, sometimes I can be, you know, a messy bitch. And so sometimes I can be petty. But generally, my desire is to be productive. And I just think if you are focused on not doing things just to be sensational, then it's not difficult to be honest and real and authentic and hireable. I think it's so easy to go do the clickbaity stuff. Your communication is amazing. Do you have any tips on how to improve? Practice. I think I'm a really good talker now. You know, I've always been a good talker. And I do think a part of it is just natural. I have one niece who's such a good talker. She's been a good talker since she was 2. And that made me think, oh, okay, this is just something innate. But also, I've practiced a lot. I did speech and debate since I was 11. So I've done a lot of talking. And when I make videos, I write it out. I watch people talk a lot to see what I think is effective. I practice in the mirror. I've done so much. It just comes so naturally to me. And I'll also say, I've said this elsewhere, maybe on the Patreon, but I'm 30 years old. I feel like I just started having great ideas. You know, I had some good ideas before. They were good. They were okay. But I think I just started having really, really good ideas. And I think that my ability to express those ideas is the best it's ever been, because not only have I spent so much time practicing how to effectively communicate my thoughts, but I've also spent a lot of time deeply reading and meditating on my thoughts and my ideas. And I mean, that's been really helpful. What are your thoughts on the media's handling of the whole Mueller report? I am not even plugged into it. I'm not even plugged into it. If Donald Trump, I don't even care about that. I'm going to be honest with you. You are really smart. Would you accept a job on ABC's The View? Who turning down a job on The View? Come on now. Nobody. So yes, I would. We're going to hide this because that's sexual harassment. What advice would you give to Black women in their 20s? Don't be chasing after these niggas. No, I'm just kidding. I mean that. I should put it in a better way. Learn how to set boundaries. So in your romantic relationships, in your familial relationships, figure out what works for you, what doesn't, and don't be afraid to communicate that. Save your money, save your money, save your money. Everything that you think doesn't have to be said out loud. Yeah, that's how I feel. What did you love most about being at Harvard? I worked literally since I was 10 years old to go to Harvard. I just loved being there. And then when I got there, I loved the fact that I found a major that I absolutely loved. I found a department that I loved with kind, caring, supportive, brilliant Black people who were just amazing. I found a group of friends that I am obsessed with and who get me, and I don't have to hide from them. You know, when I first told them that I didn't want to go to grad school and I wanted to start for Harriet, none of my friends were like, girl, what you doing? That's the same is not true for my family, right? All of my friends were like, okay, all right, yeah. And we're still so cool to this day. The people. And like, yeah, and it is good to go to a university that has lots of resources. It helps. How can Asians support the Black community in a racist structure? Do not be racist and also call out anti-Black racism. From what I hear, there's a lot of anti-Black racism in Asian social spaces. I mean, particularly there's some Asian anti-Black racism regarding this whole Harvard lawsuit. So don't do that. You mentioned critical race theorist Derek Bell and how white institutions only back Black when there is something to gain. I've looked and can't find the source material. Can you help, please? He was talking about convergence theory. So if you look up Derek Bell and convergence theory, then it should come up. I definitely have the article downloaded. I've definitely read it. Yeah, should come up. I'm so happy that you have a platform. Okay, I stay on the road. Just wanted, hey guys, do I have a boyfriend? No, I do not. Thank you so much. Thoughts on ugly babies? I don't know what that means, but that concerns me. I think we should not be talking about the way that babies look. How has being a gifted student growing up affected your self-worth and perspective later in life? I have a whole video about this. It's called I Failed Out of Harvard. I suggest everybody go and watch that. Do you think it's up to the general population to take action against global warming? I think it is up to us to compel the large corporations who are primarily responsible for climate change and CO2 emissions. I think that we are going to have to do some protesting, do some movement work in order to hold them accountable. I also think we are responsible for being conscientious about the ways that our consumption patterns, our desires, our preferences are enabling these large corporations to justify continuing to destroy the planet. How do you make more Black friends in college? Seek out Black people and be cool. Don't be all uncool, be cool. I mean, all Black people aren't the same. I don't know. How did I make Black friends in college? I went to Black stuff freshman year and I was open and fell into with the Black folks who were like me. How do you feel about non-Black fans of your channel? I find this to be so strange. I mean, I would never ask a white creator, like, is it okay that I'm Black and I watch this? I would never do that. I find it to be really strange that people continually ask me that. I, as a Black person, and not to shit on you, but I'm just saying that as a Black person, growing up and being a heavy consumer of pop culture and all kinds of media, I have always had to consume things that weren't directly and primarily targeted toward me or my demographic or talked about my life experience. And I never, ever would have thought to say, is it okay that I listen to Britney Spears? Is it okay that I wear this NSYNC shirt? Like, I never would have to do that. And I'm not trying to shit on you. I'm just saying that it feels to me like those kinds of questions are born out of maybe an entitlement that you just expect that every space that you go into or are privy to or are listening in on, that has to be just for you. And like, that's not the way that the world works. So you can watch whatever you want to watch and listen to whatever you want to listen to. It's how are you engaging with that work that people object to? Are you commodifying it? Are you taking up too much space? That's the thing. It's not, you can't watch it. Okay. How do you, okay. What advice would you give for raising, any thoughts on Haitian slave history? You know what? One of my best friends from college is Haitian, and it honestly, she is the one who really, I grew up in a Black American community where everybody was just descendant of slaves. And not until I went to college did I really have lots of interactions with people whose ancestry was not from the United States for generations. And recently in the past like 10 years, developed a really deep appreciation for Haitian history. Haitians are fucking badass. Like, we all need to be learning about the Haitian Revolution, what Haitians have been doing to rise up. Like, it's crazy. And the culture, dude, I'm a fan, okay? Like, I'm a fan. Thoughts on Antifa as an ideology? I think that Antifa is a scapegoat for trying to cover up the rabid white supremacy that infects every institutional structure of this country. So while we on the left are trying to call out white supremacy and the fact that it influences everything from police departments to federal governments, state, local, federal governments to school systems, Antifa becomes a really easy scapegoat to say, see, you guys are just as bad. No, they're not, actually, okay? You have a fucking white supremacist in the fucking White House. Ain't no Antifa making federal policy. That's how I feel. Hello, Tokyo, fellow Ivy Leaguer. Where'd you go to college? What other Black feminist content creator do you follow? I can only think of you, Black feminist content creators. Well, I don't know about YouTube, but on Instagram, I like a woman named Erica Hart. I think she's great. Jamila Lemieux. I don't know. On YouTube, I don't know. I love a couple of the women on The Grapevine. I like Uchechi, I've already said. I like Just Latasha. Yeah. When was the last time you were violent? I am not violent. I'm not violent. That's not my first. It's never. I don't yell. I very rarely yell, and I'm not violent. Never been in a fight. Don't believe in it. Thoughts on the, I don't know. Would you ever appear on The Grapevine? I do not have plans to appear on The Grapevine. I'd like to see you do a video on how healthcare disparities affect African Americans. It will be nice to hear a conversation that goes beyond the Tuskegee experiment. I'd have to, when you bring it up, it doesn't rile anything in me. So I don't know if I would do it. How to tell someone is an introvert or they just dislike you? Can you ask them? I don't know. I've gotten pretty good at communication now, so I can express to people. But if I just don't like you, then if you reach out, then I'm just not going to you know. And also, let me just say, as an introvert, we also are responsible as introverts to communicating our thoughts and feelings. You know, it's not just other people. I also have to be responsible for saying, you're reaching that. So if, yeah, it just takes communication on both sides. Thoughts on the squad. I think leave those women alone. They're the closest thing that we're ever going to get to radical truth telling in federal government. How do you feel about BDS? For it. Thoughts on correct feminism? I don't 100% know. I mean, I'm a huge Brittany Cooper fan. Brittany Cooper stan over here, right here. Love her. When I got to be on a panel with Brittany Cooper, I was just elated. Yeah, love her. Love the Crunk Feminist Collective was definitely one of the original inspirations for Harriet. How did you become a better communicator as an introvert? Therapy. What do you think about Ocasio talking about making Puerto Rico a separate country? It should be a separate country. The United States just historically has just colonized shit and just been like planted down the stake and said, this is ours now. If these people want to divest from us and be their own separate country and rule themselves, why not? Somebody left a comment saying, oh, when I lived in Hawaii as a white person, all the Hawaiians were mean to me because you're a fucking colonizer. Okay, like, you know, let those people be. Why is Ariana Grande trying to be black? I didn't say that. So you should go back and watch the video because I didn't say she was trying to be black. Do you think black radical leftism can make a resurgence after the state essentially repressed it? I think that we are on the verge of black radicalism making as big as a resurgence as I think we're going to see. I think that, you know, Cornel West has talked about the fact that now in the United States, the kind of class stratification is not just happening among white people. Now there's a lot of class stratification in Black America. And I think that that makes it more difficult to have like a unified leftist rising because there's just a lot of Black people living comfortable lives and getting money and, you know, and they're not going to want to upset the social structure. So it is definitely going to have to be like a more grassroots thing. And, you know, people just have a lot to lose. And I think especially now that we have all this facial recognition stuff and so much surveillance. I don't know. Thoughts on Omarosa? She can't come to my picnic. How do you get over a friendship breakup? The last time I had a real breakup, I journaled through it. I went to therapy a lot. I cried through it. It just took time. And an active investment in healing. How many therapists did you go to before you found the one? One. Crazy. Have you heard of As Told by Kenya? Yes. She's a sweet girl. Super sweet. I think because you're a colonizer, look, settler colonialism is ongoing. It's not just something that happened in the past. We are still living on stolen land. Now, my folks was brought here against their will, okay? But a lot of y'all, is this gonna piss people off? Well, that's it. I'm sorry, or it's gonna piss people off. But the fact of the matter is that we are living on stolen land. I'm from Oklahoma, okay? So I know a little something about stealing Native American land. We are living on stolen land. We caged up Native Americans on reservations. Hawaii is stolen land. Puerto Rico is colonized land. So if you are a white and living there, colonizer, sorry, get used to it. That's the only way that we're going to work toward any kind of reparation or liberation. Did you ever feel lonely or isolated by peers due to differences in intellectual level, academic commitments? Was college the only solution to this? Did I ever feel lonely or isolated by peers? I mean, I Kind of, yes. I think one of the reasons why that there was loneliness and isolation is because when you are the best, when you are the paragon of academic achievement, and adults try to put you up on that pedestal, it does make other people look at you and be like, bitch, get out of here. Like, you're not even that. I mean, it just does. And I think that now, as an adult who has interactions with children, I make it a point to celebrate them, but also not do the thing where I'm plucking you out and saying you're super special and, whatever. Like, that's inherently, it is inherently lonely when people are trying to push you. It is. Okay. Thoughts on the Western literary canon? Do you celebrate holidays? Yes, I do. Why do older Blacks go so hard for Joe Biden? I think older Black people are the most dedicated and committed, practical people in this country. They want to win. They don't want to take chances. There's too much at stake. I think Joe Biden feels like a very safe bet. Are Asians a privileged minority? Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So if you like, I'm not an Afro pessimist, but I've definitely read about Afro pessimism. I think there's an article by Fred Wilderson. Is that his name? And I guess the foundations of Afro-pessimism is that anti-Blackness is the fulcrum around which everything else centers. And so that means that if you are any kind of like minority, like non-Black minority, that like you will use anti-Blackness to leverage yourself, in a white supremacist society. You'll utilize anti-Blackness in order to get a foot up. And I think lots of people of color, non-Black people of color, weaponize anti-Blackness in order to better their positions in this country. And I don't think all Asian people, I've read lots of articles now about the fact that we try to paint Asian Americans like they're all the same. Everybody doesn't come from China. Everybody, there's lots of different Asian groups. So they don't all experience the same amount of privilege, but like, yeah. Do you listen to current hip hop? I do. What hip hop am I into right now? Megan Thee Stallion. That's my chick. That's who I'm really into. What else do I listen to? I'm probably gonna go listen to the Chance the Rapper album after this. I loved 3. But this man Diddy, yes, I talked about Diddy yesterday. I'm halfway through my studies in university in the Netherlands, and I feel like I did not make the most out of my experiences in the first 2 years. To make the most out of whose responsibility is it to fix climate change? The biggest polluters, so we're gonna do 2. So climate change, large corporations, it is their responsibility, but also I do think it is the responsibility of the governments of the biggest polluters in the world, including the United States, to create regulations and legislation in order to curb CO2 emissions. Okay, 2, how to make the best of your last 2 years of college. Network. I had a really good experience in college, and I picked the perfect department and found the best friends, but I definitely could have been a better networker. I feel like I've done more networking after graduation with regards to making connections with professors, and we call them teaching fellows, but everybody else calls them TAs. I think it's really important, have conversations with them, go to office hours. That's important. And invest deeply in your friendships. That's what I would say. And have fun. College is such a unique time. There's never another time like college ever again. Ever again. I miss living with all my best friends. Oh my gosh, like we used to have so much fun. Just hanging out, doing nothing, just having deep conversations about random stuff. What a great time that was. That's why I think people should go to college. As a Black suburban girl who grew up in predominantly white spaces, what was your relationship with the greater Black community? I lived between Black and white communities. Both of my parents, I've said before, were into Black people, loved Black people. So my social time was in Black spaces and my daytime was in white spaces. And we traveled back and forth between those. Would you ultimately like to see America come together or segregate? I don't. I mean, we've already done the segregation thing. No, that didn't work out. It seems insanely stressful to me that Americans have to work for college applications at such a young age. If you could change one thing about the American college process, what would you change? It is stressful. I knew when I was a little kid, I did put a lot of pressure on myself as a child. I really, really did. I was just crazy hyper-focused. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew how competitive my dream school was to get into. And so, yeah, about 6th grade, I was like, we're going to do it. And like started strategizing. I wish that, I think, you know, I graduated from an elite university and I love my elite university, but it does perpetuate inequality. And the fact that we have all of these different tiers of universities and the fact that they're so expensive and they're so exclusive, it creates a really toxic culture. I mean, that's how we got that university admission scandal where people are trying to bribe their way in. That's a really toxic culture. People have written to me about the fact that, you know, 18-year-olds feel like their lives are ruined because they didn't get into their dream school. When you're 18 years old, your life has just begun. But at the same time, I know that going to my dream school at 18 years old helps me do a lot. It helps me a lot, and it continues to help me a lot. And it's not fair that some people, if you happen to be born to educated parents like I was, and you happen to be able to go to great public schools like I was able to, it's not fair that those people get to get that. And that inequality continues to perpetuate itself. Thoughts on Charlemagne the God? How deeply into these thoughts should I get? Because this is never going to go away. Let me just say this. My primary issue with Charlemagne is I like people who know things. I think that having a platform is an enormous responsibility. I take it very seriously. That's why I try to show up prepared. That's why I read. That's why I think deeply. I meditate. I script things out. I do research. I am bothered by people who have enormous platforms and don't do that work. It is important work. So if you consider yourself to be a voice for the community, if you want to do good for the community, then show up prepared. Do your homework. It really bothers me when people like Charlemagne come out here and do nothing. It is such a waste. Do not be out here misinforming people. Thoughts on Black Republicans. You know, my father was a Black Republican. He also graduated from Tuskegee, girl. So I am not as judgmental about it as a lot of people are. I think that if you're fucking voting for a Trump, then you're a fucking fool. I think a lot of Black Republicans arrive to their stances because of their personal traumas, as we all do, right? Most of our politics are rooted in our personal traumas, and we come to our political positions via how we work through them. And I think a lot of Black Republicans they got some self-work to do. That's what I think. I think the Black people should form an autonomous community in America. We tried that, didn't work out. What are your views on Black men getting shamed by the Black community for liking trans women and the high murder rates of Black trans women? I think that we still have a lot of work to do around transphobia. How long have I been doing this? Okay, we're stopping at 1 hour. I think that we have a lot of work to do in every community around transphobia and trans attraction. Is that a thing? I just read an article on Vice where men were talking about their attraction to trans women. And I guess, is that a specific thing? I don't know. I don't want to say something that is wrong. But anyways, we all need to work on our transphobia. But I'm also going to say that I will do everything that I can to use this platform to say trans women are women, stop killing trans women. But I also don't feel like it is my responsibility as a Black woman to talk to Black men about what they are doing to trans women. I think that Black men need to take the lead on talking to each other about that. I do kind of resent the idea that Black men ain't listening to me about shit. I'm telling black men stop murdering black women and they not listening. So I think it is still black men's responsibility to take the lead and say, stop being violent. That's how I feel about that. Why does everyone hate the millennial generation? I don't know. Jealousy. Do you think the futurism? Okay, no, I'm not talking about that. What about Bernie Sanders? Makes you not really like him? I've talked about this. How do you feel about the Two-Spirit community and how the Native American community was forced to foster the belief in European gender binary? I think that from what I've learned about like the Two-Spirit community in the Native American communities, and also I've heard Janet Mock talks about Hawaiian, like they have a different ways to describe gender in Hawaiian traditions. It's really clear that we have just adopted European norms about what gender is and how it's supposed to, but I do believe that the strict gender binary is a weapon of white supremacy, and we need to let that shit go. That's why I'm also anti-gender reveal. Let that shit go. Do you know why a white male boss who is married with 3 kids would bully a young black female? No, I don't. I love Pose. I think it is exceptional. I didn't say I don't like Bernie. I said he's not my candidate. If Bernie wins the nomination, I would have no problem voting for him, but he is not my candidate. Do you think black women date interracially for the same reason black men do? Nope. Thoughts on astrology? I already talked about this. Elizabeth Warren is my candidate. Yes, I do believe in God. Thoughts on Kamala? I think she's not going to get there. I think that I've already made 2 Kamala videos. Should I give up my dream to be a doctor after getting rejected from med school or keep going? I think that you should ask somebody who knows about this. I don't know about that. Are you bad at stopping at, I don't drive really, so I don't pump gas. What do you think Malcolm X would think if he was alive today? I'm not really a big Malcolm X stan, so I haven't really given it any thought. Malcolm X is cool, but just not my fave. Can men be jealous of women? Of course they can. How do you feel about I fucking love The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. That's one of my favorite shows. I love it. I think I love The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel because I love musicals. It has a musical, whimsical feel to it. But yeah, it's definitely a show about white feminism. It definitely is. Just like Handmaid's Tale when it was good. I haven't watched season 3. Was a show about white feminism. Do you earn good revenue from YouTube videos you make, or do they get demonetized? A couple have been demonetized, but I've had a couple of months where I've made pretty good revenue. What do you think about white people getting box sprays? I mean, do what you want, but just be prepared for the pushback. What do you do for a living outside of YouTube? I read all day, make videos, occasionally write. That's what I do. Now we need a Malcolm video. You've never heard a black person say Malcolm is in your fave? Then you need to get to know some more black feminists. What are your favorite musicals? Oh, what a fun question this is. What are my favorite musicals? Gosh, why is Hamilton coming up? I mean, I love Hamilton. I love the soundtrack. I used to love Grease. I used to watch Grease so much. I don't know. Musical movies. The Sound of Music. The Sound of Music is my favorite. Yeah, The Sound of Music. I got this chair from my mama, and she's had it for a long time. Yes, I have considered writing a book. What are my thoughts on Pete Buttigieg? Cute little white gay man who, look, white gay people have a lot of money. Pete Buttigieg is a great fundraiser. Whoa. Yeah, and I think that other than being gay, Pete Buttigieg has just pretty middle of the road white male opinions. I love Jackson, Mississippi. What are your thoughts on BLM being funded by George Soros? Movements need money. Movements need money. Can you fund BLM? Do you have millions of dollars to give? I am not going to. Movements need money. Somebody has to give it. So being upset about George Soros, an iconic funder of progressive causes, funding a movement, an organization, I'm not gonna be mad about that. People need to live. People need money. No. Do I think it's unfair to turn a guy down because of his high amount of sexual partners? No, I don't. Look, HPV is real, okay? That's all I'm gonna say about that. What's the best social justice documentary you've watched lately? Have you dated in the past? Yes, I've dated. I'm 30 years old. What did you learn from it? Know what you want and set boundaries. What was the finals? I was never pro Kamala, ever. You will never, there's nothing ever, any place where I said I was pro Kamala. Never. It does not exist. I was never pro Kamala. Everybody on the planet knows that I am anti-prosecutor, anti-police prison and prosecution. That's Kimberly. I was never pro Kamala. What is my, I'm angry about a lot of different shit. Do you look around? I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. First of all, James Baldwin been told us that if you're Black and you're not angry in this country, you're fucking sleeping. Do you see this shit? Children are fucking in cages. Do you see this shit? The planet is warming. The people who are going to be hardest hit by climate change in this country are poor people, Black people, people of color. We should be upset about that. We are fighting for reproductive rights. That shit is upsetting. Like, I don't understand. Oh, I'm supposed to be happy? I'm so happy. I already made a whole video about not wanting kids. I'm a Pisces. I believe in God. I am pro-abortion. Do you think beating down Joe Biden is a bad strategy? I don't know. I mean, no. At this point, no. I don't. Black women, oh my God. I'm not doing any feminism is for white women questions. I'm sorry. I've done videos about this. I've explained it. I've talked about it. If you still believe feminism is for white women, then don't be a feminist. Do you? Stay enslaved. That's okay. Funny memory from college or high school. You know what I was just thinking about? I was just thinking about the fact that in college, freshman year in college, I remember, I think it was first semester freshman year of college. It was still warm outside. And this was like when my friend group, when we first started really hanging out together, we got super, super drunk and we're walking around Cambridge. And I always used to wear heels. I'm still a heels wearer, but there's no reason to wear heels in fucking Cambridge. If you've ever been, girl, wear flats. But I always used to wear heels and I was so drunk, and I'm a small person, so I get drunk really easily. And I'd taken off my shoes and I was so drunk, and we were just walking around, and my friends were trying to get me back to my dorm room in order to like make sure I got back in bed because I was drunk. And I remember we were walking down Massachusetts Avenue, which is like a strip where there's all these shops and stuff. And I remember I had no shoes on and I just took off running. I was running barefoot down Mass Ave. Like, there used to be, and they were like following me. And then like I ran into the CVS. There used to be a CVS on Mass Ave. I think it's not there anymore. And I ran into CVS with no shoes on, and I took a bag of chips, and I just like opened them and just like sat down in the store and was eating the chips drunk. I don't know. When are you ever gonna, it's just a fun story. When are you ever gonna be able to do that ever in life? Like, come on, good times. College is so fun. My favorite, I love Hawaii. T1J. T1J is a nice person who has given me a couple of shout outs. I like him. Do you have any criticism and critiques of Michelle Obama? I have many. Michelle Obama is like many classed, middle-aged Black folks, she has a very kind of centrist politic that does not serve a great deal of Black folks in this country, and that is my primary critique of her. Yes, I judge people based on their political beliefs all the time. Your political beliefs say a lot about you and who you value and who you align yourself with. Yes. Hi, rap critic. Yes, that is a privileged story. Usually only a drunk white person would be able to run down the street and not be arrested. But thankfully, I went to college and they didn't call the cops on Black people doing normal, stupid teenage shit. So yeah. What's your favorite way to do your hair? I'm really into braids right now. Do you feel people like Oprah have an obligation to do what they can in the fight for equality? Yes. Is Beyonce an icon? Yes. She's like 85% there. Trump said that Baltimore is rat infested. How did you get your name? Like Kimberly? Do you happen to know any podcasts catered to more mature women over 40 plus? Not really. I think digital media does have an age problem, an ageism problem. I'm a Pisces. My dream career is doing this, doing what I want to do, writing, reading, making the content that I want to make, and being paid well for it. That is my dream career. I made my dream career. Have you ever seen the show RuPaul Drag Race? I have. I haven't really been able to get into it. Would you rock an afro? Sure. Is Rihanna an icon? Of what? I don't know. When are you coming to NYC again? I prefer not to say. Do you think the NAACP unanimous vote is significant? I don't know what that is. I've already talked about the A$AP Rocky situation. Oh, hey. My friend told me that as a working mom, you'll never be as successful as one without kids because she doesn't want them. And I find that quite offensive as I doctor up for promotion. Thoughts? I mean, generally, women without children do better, right? I mean, I think our society it's not a good mother. Our society, this is not a good society to be a mom in. It's just not. It's just not. Our society is still structured to accommodate one partner in the workplace and one partner at home. And that is often a gendered expectation. So I think if you want to be successful in your career, you can do it. There's lots of successful working mothers. They're out there, but I definitely think it's easier to be professionally successful if you don't have children. It's not lost on me that the two supreme women on the Supreme Court, or two of the three women on the Supreme Court, don't have kids. It's not lost on me. I think it's really difficult to be super professionally ambitious and have children because our society does not accommodate mothers. But of course you can be successful and have children. Of course you can do that. And we as people without children need to do what we can to support the mothers in our lives. Do you think that love is something that has to be developed over time? Are you familiar with antinatalism? Yes, I am. I'm not an anti-natalist. Thoughts on hypergamy? Most people are just not going to be able to be hypergamous. Sorry, you're just not. It's just not a possibility for most people. So if you want to invest yourself in hypergamy, that's cool, right? But for most people, it's not a reality. The majority of people who get married in this country marry somebody who grew up with a similar sort of socioeconomic status and a similar kind of education. The vast majority of marriages occur along the same socioeconomic status. So if you want to invest yourself in the lottery of hypergamy, do it. You know, I'm not going to tell anybody to give up on a dream. I'm just saying that for the vast majority of us, that's not what's going to happen. What do you watch the channel Chrissy, who talks about colorism? I have seen her videos. Okay. Most so-called Black feminists hate or are jealous of Black men. Okay. I mean, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. How do I feel about same-sex marriage? How do I feel? I mean, what is there to feel about it? Why would I have a problem? Why would I have a problem with same-sex marriage? Marry who you want to marry. How do you feel about life sentences as an alternative to capital punishment? I do not believe in prison. But while we are trying to, first of all, if our options are life sentences instead of capital punishment, yes, life sentences. But I don't believe that we need to be caging people. I don't really believe in that. Colorism affects all kinds of ethnic groups, not just Black people. Do you believe in impeachment? I believe it's not going to happen. What do you think of white South Africans, colonizers? Do you think I should try to find my biological father? I mean, if that's what you want to do. Okay, well, I think that, why did you call? Because Ayesha Curry is pretty clearly a pick B. No? I think that's pretty obvious. What about, okay, I'm going to be done. It's been an hour, and I've been sitting and my allergies are already doing things. If a guy asked me to dress more sexy, first of all, I already dress pretty sexy, to be quite honest with you. J-Lo is my style inspiration. So, what do you think about Wendy Williams? I think that Wendy Williams' career is phenomenal. Okay, I'm gonna go. I've already talked about my alternative to the prison system over on Patreon. That's an hour-long video. Okay. Do you know your personality type, like the INTJ stuff? Okay, I'm done. I need to go take some Benadryl. So I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for stopping in. This video is going to be up for, I don't know, maybe a day, and then I'll take it down, put it up over on the Patreon. Thank you guys so much. I am stuffed up like shit. I gotta go. Bye. Oh, I'm still here. Bye.